Greetings, fellow dungeon delvers, and welcome to DORAN'S and Dragons, where we work together to come up with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition builds for your favorite League of Legends champions. Today we're building Rengar, the Pridestalker. Rengar is a Vastaya who belongs to the Kilosh tribe of Shurima. He was the runt of the litter, and his father, the tribe's chieftain, ignored him, assuming he would starve to death. Rengar fled the camp and ate nothing but plants and insects, until one day he was attacked by Markan, a legendary hunter. Markan saw Rengar's tiny starving body and took pity on him and let him live. Rengar followed the man, feeding off of his kills until Markan kicked him down into a ravine and tossed him a sword, telling him the only way to be a hunter was to hunt. Rengar spent years scouring the land and accumulated many trophies of his large kills. He finally returned to his father and was told only killing Kazakhs would earn him a place back with the Kilosh. Rengar found and fought the void creature, but lost one of his eyes in the process, and Kazakhs got away. His father chastised him, and Rengar noticed that his father was no hunter anymore, just a vapid old man clinging to his past. Rengar killed him instantly and then left the village, no longer needing the Kilosh's approval and gaining a true purpose. Before we get started with the build, go ahead and like the video and hit that subscribe button so you're always notified when we release our builds. We'd like to take a minute and thank our awesome patrons over on Patreon who support us every month. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on and the keyboards clacking. One of our rewards for our patrons is monthly homebrewed content. This month's homebrew is The Hidden City, based on Vandal City. We released last month's homebrew, The First Lands, on a DM's Guild if you're interested in seeing that. Come join us over on Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel and getting access to some great content. Alright, now let's get into it. Here's a quick preview of the build. For race, we're going with Leonin. Per usual, our stats are going to be determined using the standard array. Down the line of priority, we're going to go max dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, charisma, and finally we'll dump strength. Our leveling path is going to be levels 1 through 5 in ranger, jump over to rogue for 3 levels, then fighter for 3 levels, then finally back to ranger for levels 6 through 14. Rango's passive, unseen predator, is going to come from action surge. Our Q, Savagery, is going to come from Sneak Attack. His W, Battle Roar, comes from Daunting Roar. Our E, Bola Strike, will come from our Net. And finally, we get our ultimate, Thrill of the Hunt, from Assassinate, Dread Ambusher, Sneak Attack, and Nature's Veil. Don't worry, this is going to be awesome. For race, we're going with Leonin, which is a perfect match to the Kilosh. That's going to give us a +2 to con and a +1 to strength. We also get to use our claws as weapons, which deal 1d4 slashing. Hunter's Instincts is going to give us proficiency and intimidation, which we all know the enemy ADC is feeling. Our final feature is Daunting Roar, which you can use as a bonus action. Creatures of your choice within 10 feet have to make a wisdom save or be frightened until the end of your next turn. You can use it once per rest, which will synergize with your fighter features. Background was an easy call with Outlander. Rengar spends all of his time scouring Shurima for the Void Bug and hunting and killing along the way. We're going to pick up proficiencies with Athletics and Survival, as well as the Wanderer feature. This gives you an eidetic memory when it comes to maps and terrain, and if your DM likes the survival aspects of gathering food and water, you'll be able to come in clutch for your party every time. For stats, we're going to show Riot how to actually balance something with the standard array. Roll if you want, just keep a 13 in Dex and Wisdom for multiclassing purposes. Dex is going to be our highest stat at a 15. Rengar has that swiftness in battle, and it's going to scale our damage up very nicely. Constitution is next. We're going to be getting into the thick of things, and being able to shrug off a hit or two is going to help a lot. Wisdom after that to complement his experience in the wilds and synergize with our ranger features. Intelligence and charisma can go either way here. Charisma for the intimidation we talked about earlier, and intelligence because you're a master hunter who outthinks his opponents. Except for Kazakhs. Strength is just going to be dumped because we don't really use it for anything. For equipment, we actually have several important items for the build. Defensively, we're going to pick up a set of leather armor. Offensively, we're going to pick up a short sword for our Kirai Saber, and we can pick up our arm blades from Everon, which has a piece of equipment of the same name. Our E is going to come from a net. I would ask your DM to pretty please let them be a bola instead, but a net works just as well mechanically. Alrighty, we're kicking things off with some levels in Ranger. Rangers have a D10 hit die and give us proficiencies with light and medium armor, shields, and all weapon types. We're also going to choose 3 skill proficiencies, which is a nice perk. For our sneaky kitty cat, we're going to take stealth, nature, and perception. Now, if you've been on this channel for any of my Ranger builds, you know I am not the biggest fan of Favorite Enemy or Natural Explorer. One of my favorite parts of Tasha is the replacement to both of those abilities. We will be taking Deft Explorer over Natural Explorer, but Favorite Enemy actually makes the most sense of the two because of Ringo's animosity towards Kazakhs. So Deft Explorer is going to scale and improve over a few levels. Right now, it's going to double our proficiency bonus in stealth. At level 6, it'll increase our walking speed by 5, and let us climb and swim at the same speed we can walk. So that one video of Rengo up in the trees fighting Cat will definitely be something you can do. Favorite Enemy, and again, I really dislike this feature, but Kitty Cat versus Bugman, what can I do? Favorite Enemy lets us choose a type of creature and gain advantage on tracking that creature with survival checks and intelligence checks to recall information on them. The void creatures are aberrations, so choose that. I would choose Beasts as your level 6 option, and Humanoids as your level 14 option. Second level Rangers pick their fighting style. Now this one's entirely up to you between 2-weapon fighting and dueling. I think 2-weapon fighting will allow your arm blade attacks to feel more impactful early, but you may want to switch to dueling later with martial versatility for better damage, because you'll probably be using your bonus actions for more important things, like turning invisible or hiding to get advantage on your attacks. I'll explain both quick though. 2-weapon fighting is going to give you your dex mod and damage on your offhand attacks. So strong early, especially when you don't have much with your bonus actions. Dueling will give you a flat +2 damage to each strike, which scales with extra attack which you get later. At level 3, Rangers choose their Ranger archetype and get Primeval Awareness. Primeval Awareness allows you to spend an action to focus your awareness to detect certain creatures within a mile of you. So you can turn this on and know if the bug boy is there to get your final trophy. For our archetype, since we're a sneaky assassin boy, we're going to go with Gloomstalker. This is going to give us Umbral Sight and Dread Ambusher. Umbral Sight is going to double our dark vision to 60 feet and allow us to become invisible to any creature that uses dark vision to see us in darkness. Turn on that adaptive lighting and make your enemies crap their pants when you leap out of the shadows. Dread Ambusher is going to be a big damage increase to our opener. First, you get to add your wisdom to your initiative rolls. And for the first turn of combat, your walking speed is 10 feet faster, and you get a free extra attack that deals an additional 1d8 damage on top. Remember this free attack when we get ready to discuss the Assassinate feature. 4th level Rangers unlock the first ability score improvement of the build. We like to get these all out of the way here. At Ranger 4, we're going to pick up the Piercer feat. This gives us a free point of dex, allows us to reroll 1 piercing damage die, and most importantly, any critical hit that deals piercing damage gets to add 1 additional damage die. With Assassinate and Dread Ambusher, this is going to scale up real quick. At Ranger 8 and 12, we're going to bump our dex by 2 points each to max it out. At level 5, Rangers pick up extra attack, which is pretty straightforward. You get to make 2 swings per attack action instead of just 1. Alrighty, switching gears now that we got extra attack and a little invisibility with Umbral Sight to go into Rogue. Rogues have a d8 hit die and actually do give us a new skill proficiency. We're going to pick up some acrobatics for our high-flying battles and leaps. Speaking of leaps, we're going to make up for our abysmal strength score with the expertise feature. This is going to let us double our proficiency bonus with 2 skills. Athletics and survival will help our leaps and give us even better hunting checks. There's the Thieves' Cant also, which depending on your DM will or won't come up. It's a secret language that only those in the trade know. Our final level 1 feature is Sneak Attack, which is the iconic rogue ability. Once per turn, when you make an attack, you can add 1d6 damage if your weapon is a finesse or ranged weapon. This extra damage can be added as long as one of the following conditions is met. You have advantage on your attack, the enemy is incapacitated, or an ally or another enemy of the target is within 5 feet. As long as you get one of those, this damage is yours once per turn. Most importantly, sneak attack damage is multiplied as well when you land a critical strike. Second level rogues pick up Cunning Action, which allows us to dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. This will help us dip back into invisibility and regain advantage on our attacks. Level 3 rogues choose their archetype as well. Continuing on theme, we're going to go with the Assassin. This is going to give us bonus proficiencies with the Disguise Kit and Poisoner's Kit, which are kinda meh unless you work with your DM on them. But we also get the Assassinate feature, which is simple yet elegant. You have advantage on any attack against a creature which hasn't acted yet in combat, and any creature you hit that is surprised is a critical hit. At this level, if we use Umbral Sight to ambush someone in the darkness, we get a total of 3 strikes with guaranteed critical strikes. In 2 levels, we'll be able to action surge that to 5. When we get there, I'll show you the damage calculation for that opening salvo. Spoiler alert, you may legitimately just one-shot your enemies from the shadows, and still have damage to spare for the silly support that went to farm with their ADC. And now we're switching over to Fighter to pick up a few helpful features. Fighters have a D10 hit die and give us no new proficiencies. We do get a new fighting style, which we're going to use to get the defense style for a +1 to our AC. Our final level 1 feature is Second Wind, which will be the healing portion of our Battle Roar. Once per rest, you can heal yourself as a bonus action for 1d10 plus your fighter level. Remember to use this before you spend any hit die on a short rest. Second level fighters pick up Action Surge, letting us go all out once per short rest, giving us 2 actions on our turn instead of 1. Like I said before, this is going to really spice up our opener. So this is going to assume you've ditched the arm blades and switched to dueling, and have surprise on the target. Our damage is going to be 15d6 plus 25, just for the short sword strikes thanks to Piercer, then 2d8 from Dread Ambusher, and 4d6 for sneak attack. On average, that's 100 piercing damage, with a maximum of 155. And this is with a vanilla short sword, something you're likely to have upgraded once or twice by 10th level of play. Please tell your DM I'm so sorry for doing this to them. Level 3 fighters choose their archetype as well. I'm sensing a recurring theme. We're going to go with the Samurai to help us get sneak attack in those situations where we have no friends nearby to assist. This gives us a Fighting Spirit feature, which is going to allow us to use a bonus action 3 times per long rest to gain 5 temporary hit points, and give us advantage on our attacks until the end of that turn, which will allow us to trigger sneak attack. And we're back to Ranger to finish out the build. We skipped level 6 because we covered the improvements of Favorite Enemy and Deft Explorer already. Level 7 Rangers get the Iron Mind feature, which gives us proficiency with Wisdom saving throws, meaning when Kha'Zix tries to fear us, we just shrug it off and then cut off his head. 8th level Rangers unlock Land Stride, which lets us pass through non-magical difficult terrain and plants freely, and gives us advantage on checks against the magically created plants as well. We're going to skip level 9 and go straight to level 10 Ranger. Tasha's gives us a major improvement to the Hide in Plain Sight feature with Nature's Veil. As a bonus action, you can turn invisible until the start of your next turn. This is going to give us the stealth of Thrill of the Hunt until level 13. Level 11 Rangers get Stalker's Flurry, which allows us to retry one miss attack on our turn. That way we might have a chance to get that sneak attack damage we need. At level 13, we unlock another tier of Gloomstalker's magic and gain the Greater Invisibility spell. This allows us to become invisible for up to a minute and is a superior version of Nature's Veil for our ultimate. And finally, at 14th Ranger, we get the Vanish feature. This allows us to hide as a bonus action, but we already kind of get that from Cunning action, and you also can't be tracked by non-magical means. Alright, now that we've completed the build, let's see how we did. First, the good. Holy damage, Batman. You were going to be able to completely annihilate most creatures that aren't specifically designed to tank a ton of damage. Your DM is going to be multiplying health pools like crazy. You're also relatively tanky, with 180 hit points and a 17 AC. Now the bad. The only bad thing in this build really is that you're sort of a one-trick pony. Any sort of magical utility is basically lost on you, and if you're being scryed or tracked magically, you might have some trouble pulling off your opener. So what'd you think? I've included a link to this build via D&D Beyond in the description below, as well as Amazon links to the books used in this build. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We have a few awesome rewards, including access to our Discord community and monthly homebrew releases. We plan on churning out one League Champion build every week. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we catch you on the Rift, or in the Forgotten Realms.